Well, good morning, football fans. It's time for the Jeff and Jimmy Show to kick off again this year, and we're all excited about it. A big thing this year is fans are back in the stands.
Yes, sir.
So please go out and support the football team, the cheerleaders, the band, and make this a year to come back and enjoy and cheer for your hometown team. So with that, we'll get started.
Let's do it.
Yesterday, Jim and I picked between Bishop Carroll and Northwest since they were playing Thursday night, and I picked Bishop Carroll.
You got the upper hand on me. Northwest, I think they were a little better team, but turnovers and penalties, you can't do that, and Carroll got the upper hand on them.
Well, it's the first time Bishop Carroll's beat them in a little
Yeah.
while, including playoffs, so it's good to see. Next up is Salina Central and Campus. Campus had a good season last year. I'm taking Campus.
Salina Central's been down for a little bit, and like you said, Campus has been doing well, so I'm going to go with the Campus as well.
North and Southeast, I really hope North. Those are good kids out there. They try. I really hope that they can win a few games this year, but until they do, I'm picking Southeast.
North showed some progress for last year, which was really nice to see, but at this point, I think Southeast is a little more advanced, and I'm going to go with them.
Next up is Dodge City and West High. West High had a good year last year, so I'm sticking with West.
I think this will be a competitive game, but I'm going to stay local and go with the Pioneers.
Capon and South, I think this is going to be a pretty good game. Capon had a good season last year, so did South, but I'm taking Capon.
Coach Sharts does really good during the regular season, and they have a really high-end D1 talent at tight end playing for them, so I'm going to go with the Crusaders.
Next up is Valley Center and Hutch. Valley Center actually had a pretty good season last year. Hutch has been kind of up and down, but kind of bounced back last year. I'm taking Hutch.
I think this is going to be a really competitive game. I'm giving Hutch the edge since it's up there in Hutchinson.
Next up is Mays and Andover. So Jim and I went out to Andover with KWCH to make picks, and they surrounded us with a bunch of football players and fans, and I hate to be wishy-washy, but I picked Andover out there. They'd have to really perform very well to win this game, in my opinion. Could they upset? Yes. Mays is extremely talented this year. So I'm taking Mays because this is a competition between me and Jim for the end of the year. So
A friendly competition.
Yeah.
Mays is really loaded. Their quarterback, Avery Johnson, he's getting high-end D1 recruitment. He's going to play at a very high level. They're very fast. Their defense flies to the ball, and I'm originally from the west side, so I'm going to stick with the Mays Eagles.
next up is Eisenhower and Heights. I think this will be another good game.
I do too.
But I'm taking Heights.
This is going to be a really good game. Heights also has a really talented running back by the last name of Randall. If you're familiar with local football, you know that name. He's also getting some big-time looks, so I'm going to go with the Falcons.
We got East and Hayes. I'm taking East. They're a hometown team, and they're playing a team that's 4.5 hours away, so I'm taking East.
East had a really good season last year. They got a player this year that's committed to K-State. Their quarterback is phenomenal, but Hayes might have the most Division I talent in the state. Their top player is going to Clemson, so I am going to go. I'd like to stay local, but I'm going to go with Hayes.
Next up is Newton and Andover Central. I think Andover Central perennially is a good football team. I'm taking Andover Central.
I agree with you. I'm going with the Jaguars as well.
Probably one of the best games that I think we'll have on a Friday night is Goddard and Baylor. They're both very evenly matched teams, well coached, good kids out in both of those towns, but I'm taking Baylor.
I really like the way Baylor plays football. It's traditional old school football, but I'm going to stay on the west side. I'm going to go with Goddard.
Next up is Mays South and Great Bend. Both of them had good seasons last year. Mays South is returning some kids that performed very well last year. A really good friend of mine's son plays for Mays South, so I'm taking Mays South.
Mays South is on the brink of doing something really special. They've got a lot of talented kids out that way, so I am going to go with the Mavericks.
We have Rose Hill and Andale. Andale's coming off 2 seasons of state championships. They lost a lot of senior talent, but they've replaced it.
Yep.
And they have probably one of the biggest lines they've had in years. They didn't really lose anything at running back. Their quarterback's back. Several of the defensive players are back. I think they're going to be on a roll again this year. I'm taking Andale.
Until somebody knocks them off in 3A, they're the team to beat. Like we were talking about yesterday, we'd definitely both like to see them move it up a class, get a little more competition, but they're legit. Until somebody knocks them off, Andale's the team to beat.
Next up is Mulvane and Collegiate. This is going to be a very even game. I think over the past 2 seasons, they've kind of one team won and the next team won, but I'm taking Collegiate.
I'm definitely going with the Collegiate. They do a good job of bringing in talent.
Next up is Sedgwick and Sterling. Sedgwick's been very talented the last couple of years. I'm taking Sedgwick.
I agree, giving Sedgwick the upper hand on this one.
Then we have Clearwater Belle Plaine. Clearwater had a really good quarterback. I believe he went, well, I know he's playing football, I just can't remember where. And so they've lost their quarterback position, but I think they're still going to be pretty strong and they'll win tonight.
I think Clearwater's established a pretty good culture out there, and I'm going to go with them as well.
We got Garden Plain and Conway Springs. This perennially is a huge game, and that goes back and forth between who wins as well, but I'm taking Garden Plain.
This was definitely a pick'em for me, and I gave the slight edge to Garden Plain.
Then we have Cheney and Kingman. Cheney's been very talented the last 2 or 3 years. I'm sticking with Cheney.
Somebody a lot of you people might know, Tim Myers, his son goes out to Cheney, and he lives in Cheney, so because of that, I'm going with Cheney.
Move on to college, Big 12 games. We got South Dakota, Kansas. Kansas is going to have to win a game for me to pick them. So I don't know what division South Dakota is, but I'm taking South Dakota.
Isn't that where K-State got their coach?
That's
East
North
Dakota.
Dakota.
North
State.
Dakota. Sorry, my bad.
East Dakota.
I'm gonna stay local. KU brought in a good coach from Buffalo. I'm gonna give them the edge. Not overwhelmingly, but it's at home, and I'm gonna pick them.
Next up, we got Northern Iowa and Iowa State. By far, Brees Hall has to be way up on the Heisman watch. Iowa State's ranked number 7 right now. It's the highest I've seen them ranked in years. I'm going with Iowa State.
Iowa State has sometimes struggled in games like this, but Matt Campbell could be Nebraska's next coach. And my son's buddies with Brees Hall, so I'm definitely going with Iowa State.
Self-admitting here. We have Tulane and Oklahoma. Oklahoma's ranked number 2. I think they're way overrated already. They can't compete with the big boys, even they're going to go to SEC and get blown away, in my opinion. So, but I'm taking Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, they're going to start losing 2-3 games a year when they start playing some competition, but this game's going to be ugly. I'm going to go with the Sooners.
A really good game on tap for a Big 12 team is West Virginia, Maryland. Both those teams are very talented, but I'm sticking with the Big 12 and taking West Virginia.
I know a lot of people around here don't follow Maryland, but they recruit super well. Alabama's former offensive coordinator is their coach, and it's at Maryland, so I'm going to go with the Terrapins.
Next up, we have Louisiana and Texas. It wouldn't hurt my feelings at all if Texas got upset, but I'm taking Texas.
You seem a little bitter towards Texas and Oklahoma.
Oh, it's going to be a long season.
Louisiana's a really good team. They got a great coach, Billy Napier, who's going to get a big-time job. Texas is really the main reason the Oklahoma and Texas split. Oklahoma was a good get, but Texas was the main draw. But they brought in Sarkisian. They're going to beat Louisiana, but I can see a resentment towards Texas and Oklahoma.
It's all about money now in college football.
All about the
It shouldn't be that way. So, next up, we got Texas Tech and Houston. I'm taking Tech.
I think this is going to be a better game than people think, but I'm going to go with the Red Raiders.
We have Missouri State and Oklahoma State. I'm taking Oklahoma State in that game.
This one will be ugly. The Cowpokes will get them.
We have Baylor and Texas State. I think Baylor's going to, although Texas State played pretty well last year, this is going to be closer, and Baylor didn't kind of have an off season, so I'm still going to take Baylor.
I think Baylor's interesting. It speaks to the dynamics of college athletics. They won the national championship in basketball, and they cannot get in a conference. So that tells you how much football is paramount in college athletics. But
Absolutely.
they'll win this game.
We have Duquesne and TCU. I'm taking TCU.
TCU, it looks like they're doing some Bill Snyder scheduling. I didn't even know Duquesne had a football team. But because of that, I will take the Horned Frogs.
Next up, we have K-State and Stanford. This is going to be a good game. You know, both teams, obviously K-State has a new coach, second year. It's kind of rebuilding. Stanford had a down year last year for what's normally a good Stanford team. They're playing in the Cotton Bowl. I think K-State, picked up some pretty good talent in the offseason with the whole portal thing that's going on, which I also don't agree with.
I'm not a fan of that either.
But hey, if everybody's going to do it, you got to be part of the game. So, but I'm taking K-State.
K-State's another one of those teams that doesn't have a conference to go to. Nobody really wanted K-State. It's kind of sad in some regards. But the Big 12s that are going to bring in like Brigham Young and Houston and Cincinnati, basically going to be the American Athletic Conference. They won't be bringing in a lot of revenue since the two big top dogs are gone. Just thought I'd give a little insight on my thoughts on that. But Stanford plays a very, very physical football game. K-State plays the Big 12 chuck and duck, so Stanford's going to run over them.
All right.
Just had to preface it because I know what's coming.
Last game, I'll let you take.
Nebraska got off to a rough start last week. It was a lot of the same old stuff, mistakes, penalties, all that. It might have cost Scott Frost dearly. More than likely his contract will get bought out at the end of the year. But fortunately, they'll probably win the next two games. And next year, with the donors' deep pockets in Nebraska, we'll have a good coach and get back where we need to be.
So, last game they played was against Illinois. We have a sergeant that's a huge Illinois fan. He's been mad at me ever since I picked Nebraska last year, and Illinois beat him last year too.
They did.
Illinois is not any stellar football team, and Nebraska came out and played exactly who Nebraska is, a nobody. And
Wow.
so playing in a conference they can't compete in.
It was a little aggressive.
But there is hope or light at the end of the tunnel because they're playing Fordham, who's like, what, a Division III team?
I think Snyder used to schedule them. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Scott Frost is scheduling for Nebraska, though. So a coach that probably won't be there by the end of the season. And so if you all remember in the last few years, all we heard about was Scott Frost and UCF and, how great he is, and he's done nothing at Nebraska.
Won a national championship at UCF.
And so it's kind of ironic that we're sitting here and now even Jim has conceded that Scott Frost is not the savior for Nebraska. So with that, I have checked on their Nebraska.
Oh, please switch it up, please. I could use the game.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Nebraska.
All right.
But a piece of trivia:
Oh, okay.
how long has it been since Nebraska lost a game in Nebraska, or in August?
A long time.
Yeah, 15 seasons.
How long's their sellout streak?
Do you really want to go there? I'm sure donors right now are buying thousands of tickets just to keep the streak going.
376 games since Kennedy was president. And it's good to have good donors. That's basically what makes a team.
Obviously, because now they're under investigation too.
Yeah, mild. Again, the donors will help with that too.
Anyway, we hope you join us every week. Hope you like the show that we put on. We enjoy it every year. But literally, it's about the kids, not just the football team, but the fans, the cheerleaders, the band. It brings everybody back together after being isolated so long. So we really hope that you get out there and enjoy the game tonight. I know it's supposed to rain. Hopefully it will hold off until the games are over with. So with that, have a great Labor Day. Be safe traveling, and we'll see you next week.